Let's talk about Arsenal, because they've got their eye on a couple of different strikers from Europe. And this man, well, everyone's talking about him, isn't he? Viktor Gyökeres. Could he be coming to the Emirates Stadium, do you think, this summer?
Quite possibly. There's been a number of reports that Arteta favours Benjamin Šeško, who Pete will talk about in just a few minutes' time. Andrea Berta, Arsenal's new sporting director, supposedly favours Viktor Gyökeres. Now, Andrea Berta has a reputation for bringing in tall, physical strikers into his previous club, Atletico Madrid, Diego Costa, Alexander Sørloth last summer, which is a transfer that's worked out really effectively. And it's no surprise that Arsenal and a number of clubs are looking at Viktor Gyökeres. There's a rumoured release clause of around £65 million, maybe just over, but Viktor Gyökeres' career has really taken off in the last few years after a slow start. And it is worth bearing in mind that at 26 he is a relatively late bloomer, but was on loan at Swansea, just one goal in 2021. But look, as soon as he got to Coventry, one season on loan there, and then really exploded. This campaign helped Coventry to the playoff final, where they lost to Luton on penalties. But since going to Sporting, 43 goals last season, 52 this year. And that comes in just 100 games as well. He's been very creative as well, 23 assists. When I watch him play, he slightly reminds me of Diego Costa. There's not necessarily like a very clean player there. It's sometimes a little bit rushed, sometimes a little bit bundled. But this guy has an incredible desire to score goals, and he's done so effectively this year. 38 goals in the Primera Liga alone. He helped Sporting win the league last year. They are level on points with Benfica at the top of the Primera Liga this year. They will win the title if they, beat Vitoria this weekend. Second successive title, winning mentality. He'd be a huge addition for Arsenal. And Pete, the difference between Gyökeres and Šeško is Gyökeres has title-winning experience with Sporting CP. He is that little bit older, whereas Šeško feels like much more of a potential player.
I think that's right, yeah. I think that's right. We can see Šeško in action here, scoring a fantastic goal against Bayern Munich on the break. And I think if you just look at the way he connects with this finish, the outside of his right boot, so much confidence and technique. I think we know that the talent and potential isn't there within Šeško. Perhaps not the stratospheric goal-scoring numbers of someone like Gyökeres or some of the other top strikers. I mean, if you look at his career path here, and we've got the stats here, when he was coming through at Salzburg, of course, following a similar path to Erling Haaland, there were comparisons at that point. You see the numbers, it's not on the same level as Haaland. Just 21 years old, though, and very highly rated by RB Leipzig. There was a clause last summer, June 24, that he could go for £55 million. Lots of Premier League clubs looking around at him at that point. It didn't materialise. He signed a contract extension, and there's an agreement in place, an understanding that if a big offer did come in for him this summer, then Leipzig would allow him to leave. But, as I say, they rate him very highly, and I think it would have to be a significant offer, probably in the same ballpark as what you might have to pay for Gyökeres to get him into Arsenal.
Yeah, it's going to be a fascinating summer for Arsenal. You imagine they'll look to strengthen midfield, potentially another utility forward as well. So these slightly cheaper forward options could come into play. But, Rob, it's going to be a fascinating summer throughout the transfer window.
Let's round up the day's transfer news, and in particular the very latest on the future of Bayer Leverkusen's Florian Wirtz. Kaveh Solokol, our chief reporter, is alongside me. In the last hour you were talking about a lot of social media buzz that Liverpool could be in for him. Are you about to extinguish any hopes?
Maybe, just maybe. But look, in the past few hours, there have been lots of reports, especially in Germany, that Liverpool are going to make a move to sign Florian Wirtz when everyone's expecting him to go to Bayern Munich or maybe Manchester City. What I can tell you is that Liverpool are not working on a deal at the moment to sign Florian Wirtz. They didn't meet the player in England yesterday, but he is a player that they have been watching for a long time. They have been aware of him. And if there was any prospect of him wanting to move to the Premier League, then I'm pretty sure that Liverpool would make a move to try and sign him. They would be interested. But I think, looking at it from Liverpool's perspective, there's the feeling that the player really wants to stay in Germany. That could be that he stays a little bit longer at Bayer Leverkusen, or he moves to Bayern Munich this summer. But whatever happens, Liverpool are going to continue to monitor the situation, but they're not working on a deal to sign him at the moment. But they're interested. They're watching the situation closely.
As you said, perhaps his preferred option is to stay in Germany with the new champions Bayern Munich, which begs the question what he was doing in England earlier this week.
Well, look, he was in England yesterday in the northwest for talks with Manchester City. Bayer Leverkusen have given him permission to hold those talks. He was in England with his father, who's his agent, his mother as well. Now, Manchester City are not giving up on trying to sign him. I think the issue they have is convincing him that he is better off moving to Manchester City rather than going to Bayern Munich. I think one of the things that is in Manchester City's favour is the fact that Bayer Leverkusen would prefer to do business with Manchester City. They would much rather he moved to Manchester City and the Premier League than if he stayed in Germany in the Bundesliga and moved to their big rivals at Bayern Munich. But I think at the moment we just have to wait and see what the player decides, because obviously he's got these different offers. He's considering what to do next. Liverpool interested but not working on a deal at the moment. Bayern Munich, of course, are desperate to get him, but I think maybe they will be working on the assumption that he wants to come to them, so maybe they don't need to offer as much as Manchester City do, but Manchester City are very much in the race to sign him as well. Let's wait and see what he decides.
To Tottenham's Europa League final opponents, Manchester United, and Ruben Amorim says he's far from quitting the club. The United head coach insists he knows how to turn their fortunes around, and has also been asked about reports that he's personally paid for some of his staff's family members to attend the final in Bilbao.
The situation is simple. You know that we had a lot of things, people leaving, a lot of changing in the staff, and in this moment for our club, sometimes it's hard to understand when to give, when to take, to respect the people that we are taking their jobs in certain moments to survive and to rebuild, and then it's hard and it's complicated for the club to start giving to other members of staff. So it's a really hard position. Then that situation was explained, and in that moment, my reaction was to help, because it's not going to. I'm not a good guy. It's not going to change my life, and to help to the staff to be there, comfortable, to be a better staff for the final. Then they talked to the players, and the players had the same reaction. In the same moment, they had the same reaction. So everybody wants the staff there, the families there, but it's hard to manage things in our club. So it's a simple thing.
Ruben, I think you said on Sunday that if results carried on, then maybe someone else would have the chance. Could you seriously see yourself walking away from this club having been given this opportunity, or is it the case in your mind you're upset?
What I'm seeing is that since I arrived here, I'm always talking about the standards, and I cannot see the team having these results, especially in Premier League, and not say nothing and not take the responsibility. It's just that I have a clear idea what to do. I understand the problems of the team, so I'm far from quitting. What I'm saying is that we need to perform. And we had this season. In the future, we need to perform, or else they will change us. That is normal thing. So, especially after the match, was my feeling, and it still is my feeling today.
Jeremy.
Ruben, what would be more important to you personally, winning a trophy or getting this club into the Champions League?
Personally, for me, I think Champions League is more important for everything, to prepare the next season. And we are supposed to be in Champions League, and Europa League here is not enough, and you have that feeling here. So this is the best way to help us to get in the top in a few years is Champions League. Is not the title, is not the cup. So for me, Champions League is more important.
A few days ago about getting used to losing big matches or matches at home. Sorry, is that equally frustrating though, that the team can perform these really big games and they have the under you so far, but maybe in other games they aren't reaching out?
It's more profound than that. Of course, I understand the context. I understand that we are not fighting for nothing and we are focused on the Europa League, but we cannot get used to that. So if I have to say that every week, I will say every week is my job. I understand that I'm manager of this big club, and that is a problem. It's not okay. No matter what, even if it is a pre-season match, we need to win it.
Well, there's another positive for United in the build-up to next week's final, as Diogo Dalot was back in training today. He's missed 5 games with a calf injury, but says he's doing all he can to be fit to face Spurs.
Feeling good, so feeling better every day. We just at this stage we go day by day to see how it goes, but so far so good.
And how hopeful are you that you can make that final? How hard are you working every day to make sure you can be fit for it?
Really hard. You can imagine how much I want to be back as soon as possible. So I'm really pushing myself to be available as soon as possible.